You're somewhat centered. Your head's not cut off. Okay. All right, Jim, go ahead and get us started.
Hey, Coleman, hope everything's going well for you. I know since the beginning of the year, how do you think your game's transformed? I know probably this was the most minutes you'd had in quite some time in a game. Just where do you think your game is now as compared to beginning of the year?
I think, beginning of the year, I was trying to, just get adjusted into, playing defense more and, being focused in on scouting reports, things like that. Those were probably like two biggest concerns, really focusing on defense and, offense, just flowing in our offense, being a connector for our offense in that fourth spot. And, now I think I feel like more comfortable, understanding scouting reports and who I'm guarding, shooters, locking in on shooters, knowing who's a lock and trail guy, knowing who's non-shooters, who I'm going under on, things like that. I'm more locked in and more comfortable, and also guarding multiple positions now. I feel like I'm more comfortable guarding multiple positions, especially like early on, mainly four guys, but now I feel like I can guard more perimeter and big guys too. So.
Did it help that you played on the grind session last year, playing against some of the more elite teams or players in the country? Did it help any to have that kind of atmosphere to play against that competition?
Yeah, I think it did help a little bit, but it was still high school. It still wasn't college, so it has its pros and its cons. It definitely prepared me more than if I would have stayed at a regular high school and played regular competition. But yeah, I think, like I said, it was still high school, so there's still it wasn't like a full college, like it wasn't like a college feel, but I still think it benefited me.
Thanks, Coleman. Appreciate it.
You just identified yourself as a four, but we all saw you bring the ball up the court the other night. And Brad Underwood keeps talking about you're playing at the three, and he still sometimes says positionless basketball. So we assume that we're going to see you initiating some offense.
Yeah, for sure. And then that's what our four man kind of does. He kind of trails and then looks for high lows. He kind of initiates that offense, but definitely in the future, I can see myself becoming more of a three, becoming more positionless, guarding multiple positions, bringing the ball up, if I get a rebound, not having to wait and look for our point guards, being able to bring it up by myself. So definitely in the future, I see myself more positionless, almost 2 through 5. So, yeah.
But not the one.
I mean, one is the one. We got Mr. Andre Curbelo. He got his little dime package. We got Andre. So, but yeah, I mean, positionless. Yeah.
What individual skills are you working on for like ball handling and wing positions, and what have you improved at? What do you need to work on?
Well, I think I definitely need to improve on ball handling. I haven't been working on that much, but I think I've been working on becoming more consistent shooter. Shooting 500 shots a day to make that one if I get in the game. So definitely been working on becoming more of a consistent shooter, being a more reliable. One more and I got to knock it down if I'm in the corner or anything like that. But this offseason, I'm definitely gonna work on everything. I told my dad already. I'm in the gym. If I'm making any excuses, let me know, because I want to be in that gym. If there's any excuse, just remind me, like, because next year is gonna be big. So.
Right on. Thanks, Coleman.
Hey, Coleman, it kind of looks like you become a fan favorite a little bit. Fans really want to see you on the court. What did it feel like to knock down that first three-pointer or that three-pointer against Nebraska the other night?
It felt great, especially, seeing that my team needed some kind of energy. I think they went on a 9-0 run, just coming into the game and impacting the game and, just bringing energy for my team. I was hyped to get in there and knock that three down, hit that layup. And yeah, just, showing the team that I'm here to give them energy. And then if I'm not in the game, I'm also there to support them. So.
Okay. Can you tell me, as far as like you going from high school to playing a lot, then some games you get in, some games you don't. How big of an adjustment is that for you to not get in every game to be logging 20 minutes a game?
It's not really an adjustment. It's more of like me knowing, where I'm at, and then knowing where our team is at too. At the end of the day, I've always been a team player. So in high school, if I had to play, the whole game, I'd play the whole game. If I didn't have to, and I had to sub out, that's what I have to do. So this is, I'm playing the minutes that coach wants me to play, and I'm gonna accept that. And I just know, my time isn't now. Just be patient with it and be a team player. And like I said, support my teammates when I'm not in the game. And yeah.
Hey, Coleman, the Big Ten this year is historically one of the best conferences, I mean, literally like ever. What have you noticed in your first year? What do you think makes it such a good conference?
I think it's just super competitive. The more I say this year, I don't know if it's like just this year, but there's a lot of great veteran players in this conference, and the defense is just like super competitive. Defense is just everyone's locked in, everyone knows the scouting report, everyone knows what everyone can do, and it's just like everyone's locked in. I think defense and just knowing the team you're gonna play, and then all the returning players that played last year are super good, and everyone is just like every team, you can get popped by any team, whether, you're going into overtime with Nebraska or you're right there with Wisconsin. Like every team is great in this conference, and every team knows what you want to do. Like I said, everyone's locked in on defense.
What's that like for you as a freshman to come in and like the jump to college basketball is a big jump anyway, but you're jumping into this kind of conference. How's that been for you?
It was kind of hard at first, really locking in on defense. Coach got on me every day about defense, but I'm adjusting. I think so far I've adjusted pretty fast, and I'm right where I want to be at. Freshman year, I don't, I wasn't seeing myself, getting in and having a lot of minutes, like that, not like that, but I think I've done a good job adjusting and just knowing where my place is on this team. Yeah.
Thanks, Coleman.
Hey, Coleman, I wanted to ask you about your relationship with Io. I saw you guys sat together on the plane ride out to Nebraska, and he's really spoken highly of you throughout the season and he's talked about your time is coming. Has he kind of taken you under his wing a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Dose is my guy. I think it really started on my visit, he having the Chicago connection with my dad, and he knew like my dad knows the same people he knows. That connection started there. So on my visit, we connected, and then now, yeah, I would say he's taking me under his wing. He's super cool. That's my guy. He's always looking out for me. We're always talking, just joking around. He was getting on me, clowning me a little bit because I was celebrating that little three I had against Nebraska. But yeah, that's my guy. Dose is my guy. He's always looking out for me. He's super cool.
Another question I wanted to ask, you were the first recruit in that class to commit to Illinois. And I know that you kind of talked to people about coming to Illinois. Do you still embrace that role? Maybe anybody that out there that will be thinking about a decision and you're kind of in their ear?
Yeah, anytime I go on Twitter or Instagram, I see, there's someone's been offered or we have a recruit or anything like that. I always, somehow find their social media, pop in, message them, let them know we want them. And then I do my own research on them. I watch some highlight tapes, and that's where me and Luke, we started a connection there. Like I was probably the first person to know that he was committed. I would check on him like daily, like every week or so. And then, 1 week he was like, yeah, don't tell nobody, but I'm coming to Illinois. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, and sent me the edit. And then like a week later he announced it. So, I always check in on recruits, and, if we have anything going on, I always check in and just talk to them and try to build a relationship with them, let them know we're like the family here and that we want them. So.
Appreciate it, Coleman.
Hey, Coleman, kind of circling back to Io, what's it like for you as a teammate, just kind of watching him take over down the stretch of games?
Yeah, the Nebraska game, man, it was crazy. Just seeing him, just go to work, especially when we needed it. Like that's what pros do. Like he's a pro. Just completely took over the game. Like it was crazy. I was just sitting there watching it. I was like, sheesh, you know. Um, literally, uh, just a ball screen and attack the rim and got us in the game. Like it was crazy to see him do that. And yeah, that's what pros do, and that's what he did. So
And last year you played with another kind of dominant takeover guy in Jalen Green. How does like Io taking over at the end of Nebraska compare to like, Jalen taking over against La Lumiere, if you remember
yeah,
that game?
yeah. Malamir, that was definitely a game. Jalen did that. Jalen did that all the time. If we needed something, he'd get the job done. If we needed a three, he hit a three. That's what pro players do. So it's great having someone like that on the team where you can rely on them and just learn from it, and then sometimes sit back and watch it. It's super cool to have that on the team.
Thanks, Coleman.
Hey, Coleman, do you find that you guys are maybe hitting some lulls where you're playing to your opponents a little bit and maybe not to your fullest potential, whereas maybe you don't get excited as much to play Nebraska versus, an Iowa or Ohio State? And how have you guys talked about how to maybe match that same energy and just keep it consistent throughout?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like sometimes we get off to slow starts. I wouldn't say like I wouldn't really say like underestimating the opponent, but I do agree, like, kind of looking at them like, oh, it's not like a top 10 team like Iowa or like that. But I think we've talked about it a little bit. It starts in practice and it starts in shoot arounds. Sometimes we're a little sloppy in practice and shoot around when we're going over, their plays and scouting report and stuff like that. We're kind of loose with it. Or in shoot around, we have the scout team kind of, serving us buckets when we're not locked in defensively or we're making, mental mistakes or, we screwed up a switch, things like that. So we definitely talked about it in weight sessions. Before every weight session, we talk and we come together as a team. And Coach Fletch has been emphasizing on connectivity and connecting. And yeah, we've definitely talked about it. And like I said, it starts in shoot around, starts in practice. So yeah.
Do you feel like there's an opportunity here now with Northwestern, given, earlier in the season, it was kind of just the tale of two halves where it was, night and day between the two, and you guys just asserted your dominance in the second, and, things were a little bit different there in the first half?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be different now. Top 5 team. We're a top 5 team. So like we say, like every team going on forward, it's going to be their Super Bowl. So every team is going to want to beat us. And we're going to have to, play even better than what we're expected to play. They're going to play their best game. And then Illinois versus Northwestern, it's always a big game. It's always a game that everyone's going to want to watch. And, they're always going to play their best game against us. So, just knowing that we're going to be every team's Super Bowl from now on is what we have to lock in on and just elevate each other and play even harder than how we played before.
All right, thanks, appreciate it.
Hey, Coleman, kind of depending on if and when the Michigan game gets rescheduled, there could be a stretch where you guys, potentially could have something like 4 games in 8 days. What's the challenge of maybe what could be a real compact end to the season?
4 games in 8 days. That's tough, but we've all sacrificed enough, and I've been out here since June. I haven't seen my family since June. So we've all sacrificed enough, and that's what we know, we signed up for. So if we're getting to play 4 games in 8 days, we're grateful for that. Especially now during this time with COVID and everything, some high schools I know in California aren't even playing. Like there's some people that don't get a season at all. So whether it's, 1 game in 8 days or 4 games in 8 days or anything like that, we're still grateful that we even get a chance to play, especially in this time. So
from a physical standpoint, what's important maybe when you've got a run of games like that, just to make sure, you kind of your body's right and maybe your mind's right too?
Just I think staying focused and then going in for treatment if you have any like bruises or you're banged up or anything, going in for treatment, getting things like that taken care of, and then really, practicing hard, and then do what you got to do, and then just emphasize on that rest. If you have a little amount of time to get rest, go get your rest. But yeah, just take care of your body, drink water, different things like that. Go in trainers and just get your body taken care of.
Thank you.
Hey, Coleman, I'm just curious, as a California kid, I know your dad's from Chicago, but as a California kid, how do you enjoy 9 degrees and 6 inches of snow?
Really, it kind of hit me today. I was like, oh my goodness, it's freezing outside, but it's not too bad. I'm in the gym most of the time, and then I go straight home. It's not like I'm out and about or anything. So I've been probably doing the same schedule since like around August, almost September. So I'm kind of used to just going back and forth between the gym and then my apartment and staying in there. So I haven't really been out too much, but it's kind of a weird adjustment, but like I said, I'm inside most of the time, so it's not that bad.
So maybe next year when you got to walk across campus to a class, it'll get you.
Yeah, next year, hopefully I have a car and I don't have to walk, or I'll figure something out. I'll triple layer something. I'll figure something out.
All right, thanks.
Hey,
Is that it?
I'll
Go
jump
ahead.
back in if nobody else. Coleman, speaking of all the practices or all the games in so many days, I assume the practice is pretty intense. So teams that are only playing a game and they only have 5 players at a time maybe have a better rest than guys that are practicing all the time. What do you think about that?
It happens, but like I said, this is what we signed up for. This is what we sacrifice everything for. So if we have one game, we're grateful. But if we have 4 games, we're still grateful. Just being grateful, and yeah, especially right now in these wild times.
But are you more tired after a practice or after a game?
Definitely practice. Definitely practice going for like 3 hours, and then compared to maybe 10, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks.
Coleman, was there a moment in conference play this year that it kind of hit you like, whoa, this is really, really different, and these teams are, at the top of the country here?
Yeah. I think, even though Indiana wasn't, I don't think they were ranked at the time, but when we went into overtime with Indiana, that was a hard fought game. Trace was playing great. Both teams were playing great, and both teams were just super competitive. We got lucky, went into overtime, we took care of business, but definitely that game. There's been, there's multiple games, even in the beginning of the season, the Baylor game, to see how they play defense. They're locked in on defense. They score that ball. They do everything, and just seeing why they're, 2 in the nation is just crazy to see.
Thanks, Coleman.
All right, that's everything we have for Coleman. Coleman, thank you for your time. You can go ahead and get ready for practice and stand by. We'll get started with Coach shortly.